Imagine this, you wake up one morning, you step outside your door, and instead of seeing your local bobby on the corner, you see an armoured vehicle parked at the end of the street, and soldiers patrolling with the rifles at the ready. That's not a scene from Afghanistan, or Iraq, or the Northern Ireland during the Troubles. That's Britain, home, right here. So today, we're diving into one of the most controversial and chilling what-ifs. What would it look like if the British Army was deployed on the streets to calm civil unrest? In recent years, the UK has seen growing divisions over immigration, over government trust, over identity and values, tax rises. Protests have been escalating, with councils ordering English flags to be taken down from lampposts, and groups defying those orders by putting even more flags up, painting road crossings, roundabouts. Combine this with all the rising cost of living tensions, political scandals, and the sense that the government is losing control, and you have the perfect storm. Now, most protests in Britain are peaceful, but history shows us that when large groups are ignored or threatened, peaceful marches can turn violent. Think back to the London riots in 2011 or the miners' strike in 1980. Multiply that by today's political polarisation and you begin to see why this what if isn't too far-fetched at all. So what would it actually take for the British Army to be deployed on our streets? First off, the British Army doesn't just roll in when a protest gets noisy. In Britain, law and order is the primary job of the police. But if that scale of violence is beyond what the police can control, say cities are burning, infrastructure is at risk, or the government itself is threatened, that's when Operation Tempera could be activated. Operation Tempera is a plan created after major terrorist attacks, giving the government the power to deploy thousands of troops at short notice to key sites like Parliament, power stations and transport hubs. But normally, yes, this is designed for terrorism, but in theory, the same framework could be used for domestic unrest. How would this look then? Day one of escalation. Protests have turned violent in major cities, let's say London, Manchester, Birmingham, Liverpool. Police riot units are struggling. They're stretched thin. Ministers will hold an emergency Cobra meeting in Whitehall. The Prime Minister addresses the nation, urging calm, but overnight, videos go viral of police being completely overwhelmed. Shops are looted and fires are breaking out. By dawn then, the British Army is mobilised. Soldiers from nearby garrisons are deployed to London, Manchester, Birmingham and other hotspots in the UK. The public wake up to sights of military Land Rovers and other military vehicles such as armoured vehicles at checkpoints, all manned by soldiers in full kit, body armour, helmet, webbing, weapons. Rules of engagement are extremely strict for the British Army though. Soldiers wouldn't be there to fight the public, but to deter violence, protect key infrastructure and support the police. Picture cordons around Downing Street, reinforced not by just police shields, but by armed troops. SA-80 rifles slung across their chests. Shops and businesses shutter their windows. The atmosphere feels tense. Some citizens feel reassured. Finally, something is being done. Others may see this as proof that the government has lost legitimacy. And of course, the media goes into overdrive. Is this protection or is it martial law? Military versus public. Now here's the problem. Soldiers are trained first and foremost for combat. Yes, they receive training in public order and riot containment, but that is not their primary role. Their mindset, their kit and their drills are built around defeating an enemy, not de-escalating angry crowds of civilians. That creates a massive risk of escalation. Imagine a riot situation, petrol bombs thrown, bricks flying, smoke filling the air. Police are trained to absorb that and just hold the line. Soldiers, on the other hand, are drilled to neutralise the threat. All it takes is one reaction under pressure, one round discharged, and suddenly the entire narrative flips. From army protecting our streets to the army attacking our civilians. And that's where the danger lies. Innocent people getting caught in the middle. Families trying to get home. Shop owners protecting their businesses. Bystanders swept into the chaos. Soldiers are professionals, disciplined to the highest standard. But if they are forced into situations where they were primarily not designed for, the likelihood there could be tragic mistakes, and this skyrockets. We've seen this before during the Troubles in Northern Ireland. Armies sent in back in 1969 to restore order, and many first welcomed their presence. But as confrontations escalated, ordinary people, men, women and children, all ended up getting caught in between rioters and soldiers. This then prolonged the conflict. History does tell us that once soldiers are on the street, getting them off again can be very, very difficult. Your best case scenario then, the army's presence acts as a strong deterrent. Violence drops immediately. Protests calm down, and within days troops are withdrawn. The message is clear. The state is in control without bloodshed. Worst case scenario then, soldiers get drawn into direct clashes with angry civilians. Shots are fired, lives are lost, and the army becomes a symbol of oppression. Protests grow, not shrink. As people unite against the government's army, this could spiral into months, even years of division. Your most likely scenario though, troops would mainly be there to protect infrastructure, free up police, and deter large-scale violence. Their presence would be unsettling, but they would avoid direct confrontation as much as possible. However, even in this scenario, trust between government and people takes a major hit. Now, before we continue, let's take a breather. If you want to fuel yourself the way soldiers fuel themselves, discipline, grit, and relentless energy, grab a bag of our Covert Ops coffee from Combat Ready HQ. This isn't your average supermarket brew. This coffee is roasted with purpose, designed to keep you sharp, focused, and ready for whatever challenges life throws at you. And while you're at it, why not check out our Combat Ready HQ t-shirts, built for comfort, built for performance, and those that live by the ethos, never be beaten. You can head over to combatreadyhq.co.uk, the link is in the description. Grab yours today. Right, back to the battlefield at home. The biggest battle wouldn't be fought with batons or bullets. It would be fought with hearts and minds. Public opinion would be split down the middle. Some would argue, finally the government is taking control. Others would argue, others would say, this is martial law, all in that name. Social media would magnify everything. Videos of soldiers helping pensioners cross the street would go viral, but so would clips of confrontations, real or staged. Conspiracy theories would spread like wildfire. Is this the first step towards dictatorship? And here's the kicker. Once the army is used for civil unrest, every future protest is viewed through the same lens. People start wondering, will the army be sent again? The fear alone could permanently change Britain's democratic culture. We can't ignore the world stage either. If the British Army is deployed against British citizens, you can bet that rivals such as Russia and China will use it as propaganda. Look at the UK preaching democracy abroad while turning the army on its own people. Allies will also watch nervously, because if it can happen in Britain, one of the world's oldest democracies, it can happen anywhere. What next? The truth is, if the army is ever deployed on British streets, it would mean something has gone seriously wrong with our political system. The army is one of the most trusted institutions in the UK, but it is not designed to police the public. It is designed to fight wars. And when you blur that line, you risk not only damaging public trust, but the army's reputation itself. So what could it look like if the British Army was deployed to calm civil unrest? At first, it would look orderly. Professional soldiers, standing tall, guarding streets and infrastructure. But beneath the surface, tensions would simmer. And history shows us it's far easier to put soldiers on the streets than it is to take them off. Because once you cross that line, Britain changes forever. The real question is, if our government ever reaches that point where soldiers are needed to keep peace, has Britain already lost it?